One thing that may be more mournful than the death of Albert Wigwe, in my opinion, is missing the significance of his life and death, especially among his so-called billionaire friends and billionaire business partners, colleagues, among others. That was what rummaged through my head as I sat at one of the funeral events at Eko Hotel, marking the final journey of Albert, the man who inexplicably stood strong as a pillar of support to many structures, literally and figuratively. The hall was drenched with eulogies and panegyrics as a stentorian voices boomed across the room with a flood of dages. As this went on, Albert laid still on his back somewhere, unable to utter a word to anyone in the same world he once controlled with his mere fingers. World leaders, namely President Tinubu, Emmanuel Macron of France, former United States Bill Clinton, South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa, Africa's richest man Ali Kodangote, serving and former governors, ministers, and practically all controllers of the nation's economy paid shining tributes to a man who drove a relatively unknown Access Bank to become the largest bank in Nigeria by assets and the largest in Africa by customer base, following a merger with Diamond Bank less than 5 years ago in April 2019. How Herbert was present in so many lives and situations in different continents of the world remains indecipherable. Herbert was not an uncommon species. The type nature was not an uncommon species. The type nature drops on you once in a century. In all the tributes I had that night and the tones of others I have read, no one has been able to explain who Albert truly was and how he managed to do all that he did. Even Tochi, his eldest surviving child, could not hazard a clue to it. She admitted in her tribute that she did not fully realize the daughter of who she was until his death. Wow. The only person who gave what I considered the most benevolent, breviloquent explanation was Agboje AIG Mokwede, Albert living uh, doppelganger and closest professional and business partner. He described Albert as a man on a mission who probably knew there was not much time on his side. That goes to say that Albert's unprecedented achievements, his rocketing rise in banking, and his larger than life impact on people's lives were simply terrestrial. I look around the large Eco Hotel Hall where prominent members of our society's upper crust gathered with tearful eyes and asked silently if any of them had given a thought to what the world would think or say about them when the final inescapable bell tolls. Millions of Nigerians knew little about who Albert was and how huge his impact were, not only in Nigeria until his tragic end via an helicopter crash alongside his more than a woman wife during Chizoba and his young promising son Chizzy. Perhaps more confounding is the fact that his wife Chizoba was no less a successful woman institution on her own terms. She was not your regular wife of a successful man who made a career of shopping around major cities, pursuing vanities and inanities. Though she wore the physiognomy of a woman, beautiful by every standard of definition, inside her was a masculine engine. She founded a Cambridge construction company building highways, airport bridges, and toll plazas across Nigeria. Wow, she was also into real estate and hospitality. Despite what you can call her privileged background, she worked so hard on returning to Nigeria after her overseas studies and became a mega success in every business she ventured in. Notwithstanding her own monumental success, Chizoba could be described as a model wife and mother. She provided all the support her husband needed to succeed and gave the love and care any child could ever require for a beautiful life. That is for all to see in Tochi, her well-educated daughter, David and Hannah. Also in that ill-fated flight was Chizzy Wigwe, another rising star who had started creating sensation as an investment professional at Africa Finance Corporation. Only God knows what that young man would have been in another 5 years to 10 years before. Well, beyond banking, Herbert was a humanist of unusual category. Despite running the affairs of one of the biggest and most successful organizations in Africa, Herbert had time to attend to little matters and those you could classify as less successful. Unfortunately, this cannot be said of several others, many of who are far less rich in assets and account balance. Not even his subordinates and those acting big men who were privileged to have risen through his altruistic benevolence. That brings to mind my encounter with Albert a couple or so years ago. I was introduced to him by Dr. Alex Oti, another uncommon individual who was GMD and CEO of Diamond Bank. Now, the governor of Abia State, Oti's governance and leadership style is putting him on a path that could make him the prayer point of residents of every state in the country in the foreseeable future. Oti recently launched Geometric Integrated Power Project. Is unique as it is the only electricity project in Nigeria that is fully vertically integrated with embedded generation and distribution capabilities. It has the capacity to supply power directly to its immediate community, prioritizing local needs and distributing surplus power to Nigeria national power grid. But OT is a story for another day, as it is not the subject for today. Back to my encounter with Albert. OT had asked me to brief Albert on a certain lingering issue with the former Diamond Bank acquired by Access Bank. He confidently told me that Albert would sort it out, adding that he had a listening ear. From there on, we started talking and he gave me an appointment to see him in his Victoria Island office. At that meeting, he handed me over to Abdul Imoyo, who headed media relations to the bank. Unfortunately, Imoyo could not pull through with the assignment before he died in January this year. Wow. Abba's major quality was his readiness to be of service to different classes of humans. That is probably one of the reasons his death has sorely affected a very large spectrum of the society from different backgrounds and interests. It is on record that Albert helped realize many dreams, raising young entrepreneurs across virtually all the regions of the country. His death, therefore, could also mean an end to many of the dreams attached to his dynamic work, style, and humane disposition to all that came his way. The major consolation here is that the Access Holdings, the parents company for Access Bank, and other concerns cannot possibly suffer any setback by Albert's death. Reason being that his CMS brother Aigbuje Imokwede, born a month apart, same year, from a different mother, has stepped back in. In any case, Aigbuje records show laid the solid foundation for Access Bank when he was the chief executive between 2002 and 2013, after which Albert took over. The bank in the 11 years Albert Edway experienced a volcanic success. Just a few days ago, Access Bank acquired the entire share capital of National Bank of Kenya, from KCB Bank Limited, Kenya's largest commercial bank. Igboje and Abbas over the years shared almost exactly the same philosophies and thought processes that you would almost think they shared the same brains. Both have a way of looking far beyond what their contemporaries see. For instance, the two extraordinary spirits had a preponderant belief that family assets and values should not die with their progenitors but endure in practical perpetuity. For that purpose, Igbejoy and Abbas founded an organization solely to build and protect wealth for its clients, to ensure that their legacies are protected and preserved from generation to generation. One of the tools for achieving that generational wealth, according to them, is providing education and training for every generation of the family to prepare them for making prudent leadership, financial, and lifestyle decisions. Think of the several rich and famous names that now exist only in our memories. So for the Access Bank family, it is only a change of hands from a pilot to a co-pilot of the same navigational expertise, experience, goals, and aspirations. In fact, I have no doubt the bank will even grow stronger for the simple reason that Igboje, in trying to maintain its friend's standard and speed, may end up surpassing him. In all of this, I believe it would serve the memory of Abbas better if his friends and associates can emulate his life of service, realizing that death is a necessary end. No one, however highly placed, can determine how or where that end will come or when it will come. For Abbas Onye Wumbu Wigwe, it may be the end of an era, but its legacy evidently will occupy a very large space in history beyond the next 10 generations. I only hope his death, for which time stood still, as Agboje Sostin put it, will not lose its essence on us.